Lucas got to his company, walked in, and his employees kept greeting. He just nodded, got into his office, and started working on some important files. And immediately he heard a light knock at the door, and he muttered a "come in." The door opened, and Linda walked in with a cup of coffee, wearing a skimpy outfit. "Sir, here is your coffee," she said with a smile, and Lucas nodded with his eyes fixed at the laptop. He asked, "Linda, are you done with those files I gave you 2 days ago?" No sir, but I'm almost done with it. Now, get out of my office and complete the job. I want it in 45 minutes time." Linda left his office in a hurry. Chidera the desperado was thinking about her life. When Simi first brought up the idea, she said no because it was a very stupid act. But to eliminate Ugomma, she needed to know what's going on around Lucas's house and all that. The idea was to seduce the gatesman, and if he falls for it, then she would tell him she will only allow him to touch her when he helps spying on Lucas and his wife. The call she received from her father made her to pick up the option because she was very sure everyone in the village now knows she is a prostitute, and so she has to go back home with some tangible results, which is Lucas, of course, after Ugomma's death, because she must surely die. She got dressed and told Simi that she was ready to do it. Simi ordered the ride and described Lucas's house. When she arrived at the premise, she said, "So Lucas is this rich." She knocked at the large gate and the gateman opened the gate. She said, "He's not looking bad. Looks very young too." "Excuse me, miss. How may I help you?" he asked. And she smiled and replied, "You can help me in many ways, handsome." The gateman looked confused and he said, Miss, I don't understand." Chidera then said to him, "Take me to your quarters if you really want to understand," touching him. The gateman started behaving like his elder brother Samson and asked, "Are you sure about this?" "Of course I am," she replied. The gateman opened the gate with speed and dragged her into his quarters. Chidera was about telling him the condition she will allow him have his way. But it was just too late because the gateman pushed her down like a hungry lion who was sitting quietly in his den before a trespasser came knocking. After all said and done, Chidera told him, "If you want to be having me anytime you want it, all you have to do is to tell me everything about your boss and his wife, where they go and when they go." The gateman said, "Is that all? Then consider it done." It was at this moment his boss honked the horn that he ran out sweating like a Christmas goat. Meanwhile, immediately Chidera left, Simi let out an evil smile. At first, she wanted Chidera to be a friend she can confide in, but immediately she noticed she had an eye on Lucas, she decided to use her as a scapegoat. She said, "If she succeeds in killing Lucas's wife, I will hand her over to the police and that will make Lucas become mine." Chidera thinks she is wise, but what she doesn't know is that I'm always a badass city girl. She thinks she can come from nowhere and steal the spotlight. That's a big lie. I just pray the gateman injures her and disfigures that leg of hers for a lifetime. Lucas is mine, and no one can take him away from me. And if I can't get him, I will simply allow the poor girl enjoy her marriage. Because after everything Chidera told me, I understand the girl in question suffered in their hands. Chidera, get ready to play. Ugomma started feeling bored. Even her phone couldn't stop her boredom, so she decided to try watching television. As madam of the house, she got herself a box of popcorn and a glass of orange juice just to make it spicy. After a while, she started noticing some movement in the gatesman's quarters. At first, she didn't want to take it serious, But in every passing minute, the noise got louder. She paused the movie, dropped the box of the popcorn, and walked outside towards the gateman's quarter. Initially, her aim was to knock at the door and tell him to stop the noise. But when she got close, what she heard made her change her mind. So she went over to the window to see who he was talking to. And when she looked through, she was surprised to see a lady. She couldn't see her face clearly because of the curtains. She brought out her phone and started recording their conversation. Why does she want the security guy to spy on my husband and I? When she was satisfied with what she had gotten, she decided to visit Lucas at his working place. She got back to the house, turned off the television, returned the popcorn, and then entered the bathroom. It was at this time Chidera left the gateman's quarters. Cars were parked in the garage, but unfortunately, Ugomma can't drive, so she ordered an Uber. After a while, the driver arrived. She went outside, and immediately the gateman saw her. He ran to open the gates. With the way he looked at her, she sensed something was bothering him, and she asked with a smile, "Is anything the matter?" Madam, I don't know if you are in a hurry, so I won't waste your time, the great man replied nervously. No, I am not in a hurry, so go ahead. The gateman sighed softly. Ah, he sighed again, then took his eyes to the ground. Madam, one lady came here this morning, and when I asked her who she was looking for, she told me to Samson, and I come for Yakata. Okay? Ugomma urged him to continue. After we do and finish, she said something very suspicious. This, the gateman said with a worried expression on his face. Something suspicious like? Ugomma asked, pretending she didn't know because she wanted to confirm how loyal he was to Lucas. The gateman continued. She said if I want her to be giving me all the time, that I should start spying on Oga and you, madam. Okay. Do you know who she is or do you know where she lives? Ugomma asked, and he shook his head in the negative. No, madam. I can only recognize her when I see her, but she's just a total stranger. Okay. I am very happy you told me this. It shows how loyal you are to my husband, Ugomma said with a smile. Madam, abeg don't tell Oga this. My family rely on me, and if Oga hears I allow a stranger in, he will sack me without looking back, he pleaded, almost leaning down. And Ugomma promised he wasn't going to tell Oga, although was still going to tell him in her own way. After the little discussion, she apologized to the cab driver and got into the cab. Madam, where are you going to? The cabman asked. I am going to LO, Ugomma replied, and he zoomed off. When Chidera got outside, her instinct told her that the gateman was going to fail. In between, she never knew Lucas was so rich. She said, if I had known, I would have fought harder when he came to the village. Gosh, he can't continue with my cousin. Never. I must try everything within my powers to eliminate that witch that charmed my husband. Of course, I know she charmed him with her pretty face. I can't wait to have all the money to myself and Lucas and be going out with him to parties wearing expensive diamond clothes and rings. She went round the fence, checking it out, getting familiar with her soon-to-become environment. What she saw made her to call Simi her bestie to look for some gunmen for her, the ones that are really good at it. Simi agreed to help out, and soon she tested that she had seen good ones and they were taking 700,000 naira for the job. Chidera was happy since she got paid 700,000 naira after the conference dinner party, so she forwarded the money immediately. When she was done, she saw Ugomma leaving the house. Wow, perfect timing. She said, if I knew things were going to go this way, I wouldn't have allowed that stupid gate man touch me. She called Simi. She said, tell the men that she just left the house and she's heading to Lucas's company. Simi replied, okay, but is it the gate man that told you? No, don't mind that useless man. He just had me for nothing, Chidera said, and he is a womb shifter. Bele o. Let me quickly inform the men, Simi said. All right, bestie. I am even on my way back home, just about to order my cab, Chidera replied. Okay now, I am at home, but remember, we are still going to hit the club today. Oh. Okay, don't worry at the show for house, Chidera said and ended the call. With a big smile on her face, she said, Ugomma, my darling cousin, today is going to be your final day on earth. Watch and see I and my baby boy walk down the aisle from your grave. Simi on her part busted into serious laughter. I never knew this Chidera's middle name is a fool. How can she believe everything I tell her? Well, I had a good laugh knowing the gatesman gave her a good shifting. This plan is falling in place. Immediately the news of Lucas's wife's death comes out, I will go to Lucas and play the voice note of Chidera planning to kill his wife. I know if I tell him the truth, getting his heart wouldn't be a biggie. I am the real master planner. And to think that the guys charged 300,000 naira for the operation, but I told my foolish girlfriend 700,000 naira. And now, the whole money she got from the senator is gone. That girl should be awarded the best fool of the year. She can't just come to this Lagos, under my roof and take what is mine. Amy care that want to be better than Stella, and that can only happen through Lucas's money. My plans are already set. I just hope these guys do a good and clean job. If not, the thunder that will fire them is at Mount Olives doing press up. Lucas in his office became angry because Linda lied. She didn't touch the files given to her. Lucas told her that if he loses the contract, then she will be fired. Linda, with the speed of light and with the help of good colleagues, attended to the files and they won the contracts. I know someone will be tempted to ask, why not sack this girl instead of these innumerable threats? Now, Linda is really good at what she does, and that's her only saving grace. Lucas was sitting in his office going through important files when he started hearing loud voices. Does this secretary of mine think at all? This is not a market square, for heaven's sake. The noise got louder, so he decided to go check out what was going on outside. Ugomma got down from the car, feeling nervous like someone going for a job interview. She asked the driver politely, Sir, how much is your money? Oh, my money is 9,200 naira, the driver replied. Ugomma brought out 10,000 naira, handed it over to him and said, please keep the change as Oga's wife. When she was passing, the security stopped her, looking so mean and scary. Excuse me, miss, who are you looking for in this premises? Ugomma swallowed it hard and said, point of correction, mister. It is Mrs., not Miss. And to answer your question, I am Mrs. Ugomma Lucas Okafo, and I am here to see my husband, she replied authoritatively, wondering herself where the boldness came from. Oh, so sorry, madam, for my manners, saluting. You may go in, and I'm sorry once again, the security said. Madam Ugomma said to him, no need to apologize, mister. You are doing your job. She walked in majestically into the building. When she got to the receptionist, she looked at her and asked, excuse me, pretty missus, how may I help you? Ugomma replied with a smile, actually, I am here to see your boss, Mr. Lucas Okafo. Okay, But do you have any appointment with my boss? She asked again. No, not at all. Moreover, I don't think I need an appointment to see my husband, Ugomma replied politely. Everyone started raising their heads like primary school aproko children to see their boss's wife. Oh, you are most welcome, madam, and it is so nice to meet you. Same here, darling. But can you please direct me to his office? Ugomma asked. Of course, madam. You just have to go towards your left. The first office by your right is his PA and secretary's office. She can help you get to him. Thank you so much, my darling, Ugomma replied and started walking towards the direction the receptionist gave her. Good morning, ma started ringing left, right, center with lot of chu talks. Wow, so this is our boss's wife. She is so simple. She even answered our greetings. I think I like her. She is so simple and not bossy. All these things were said into Ugomma's ears. She couldn't help but smile. When she got to the secretary's office, Linda stopped her from going into Lucas's office. Sorry, young lady, you can't go into that office, she said rudely. Ugomma calmed herself down and said in her mind, with your heavy makeup and skimpy dress, I know who you are and what you represent. She said to her, Miss, sorry for my manners. I want to see Mr. Lucas Okafor. And Linda scoffed. Ugomma took note. She's so rude to be a personal assistant and secretary. Linda shouted, were you deaf when I said you can't see him? Or do you have any appointment with him? No, I don't have an appointment with him, and I don't think I need an appointment before I see my husband, Ugomma fired back. And Linda laughed. Husband indeed. Is this your master bedroom? You better get the hell out of here before I call the security. Ugomma was about replying her when an angry voice cut her short. Linda, have you gone nuts? Lucas the fight, the warrior himself asked. But sir, Linda was about saying something when Lucas cut her off. Shut up! How dare you talk to my wife in such disrespectful manner? I am really sorry, sir. I never knew she is your wife, Linda shouted in fear. Linda, I see you no longer value your job here. The next time you repeat this nonsense, you will lose your job. Ah! Linda shouted and knelt down immediately and said, My madam, I am sorry, ma. And Ugomma said to her, It's okay. Please work on your character. Lucas had butterflies in his belly. He apologized to his wife and said, Jewel, why don't I take you to a restaurant so we can eat? That would be a very good idea because I came here to tell you something very important, Ugomma replied. They locked their hands and started walking out of the company's building. They got into the car and he drove off. The drive to the restaurant was fun because they kept talking about a lot of things. In no distant time, they got to the restaurant, and when they came down, Lucas felt like someone was watching them, but when he turned, he saw no one. Is anything wrong? Ugomma asked, looking around. No, not at all. So let's go in, Lucas said, as she nodded. When they were seated, a waiter came to the table. Sir and madam, welcome to our restaurant. He took their orders and delivered in a few minutes. Lucas noticed Ugomma was about telling him something, but she doesn't know how to say it, and so he asked, Jewel, what is it you said you wanted to tell me? The gateman told me a lady came to him and told him to help her spy on us, Ugomma replied. What? Lucas exclaimed. Okay, you know what? Just finish your food and we'll talk about it later. He still had that feeling that someone was watching them, but when he turned, he saw no one. This is strange. In no time, they finished eating and Lucas paid for their meal and they walked out of the restaurant towards the car. Lucas's instinct told him to look up, and when he did, he saw a guy pointing a gun at Ugomma. Hey! He pulled his wife to the ground, and immediately the sound of the gun was heard. Oh my God! Ugomma lamented, looking at her husband with fear in her eyes. People started running helter-skelter. Lucas noticed the gunshot hit a police officer, but at that moment he was concerned about his queen, so he guided her to the car and disappeared through the crowd. Ugomma was shivering. She just escaped death narrowly. Lucas drove to his company and wanted to go inside to get his briefcase, but Ugomma held his hand. Please don't leave me here alone. I am the target, she said with tears rolling down her eyes. Okay, Jewel, I won't, Lucas said. He called the security to help him bring his briefcase and some other important files. After a while, he returned and he drove home straight. He made Ugomma rest her head on his shoulders while driving as he kept thinking of what happened a few minutes ago. Who wants my wife dead? I guess the person doesn't know he or she is playing with fire, and that fire is going to consume him or her. They got to the house and Linda, his secretary, called. Sorry, sir, for the loss of your wife. And Lucas said to her, point of correction, my wife was attacked, but she wasn't shot and she's not dead. Linda Tatafu still said, oh, sorry to ask, sir. Are you sure she's not dead? Because it is all over the news that you lost your wife a few minutes ago. Lucas felt like slapping her through the phone. Didn't you hear what I just said? My wife is fine and alive. He angrily ended the call before hearing more of her nonsense. Lucas started receiving calls here and there. Sorry, that your beautiful wife just ended like that. The Lord gives and he takes. Lucas had to log in and was surprised to see the garnished fake news of bloggers as if they were right in the scene. Ugomma thanked him for saving her from death. She said, thank you for changing my life from the village Ugomma who has to do anything her uncle tells her to this Ugomma that lives a life of a queen. They both hugged themselves and Lucas said, thank you, Lord, for saving my wife. You know I love her so much and I am not sure I will be able to live without her. Anyone pursuing us should fall for her sake. Amen, Ugomma said, and they both started crying. All the people that called Lucas started debunking the news, and Chidera fumed in anger. She went to meet the men. You guys are completely useless and worthless. So because you failed to wipe her out from the surface of the earth for the first time, does that mean you won't try again? The men were just looking at her like donkeys. I didn't pay you guys to just attempt. So, if one attempt fails, I am in no way expecting you to give up. What I expect from you big heads is to make another attempt, as many attempts as possible until you finally wipe that husband snatcher I call a cousin out of the surface of the earth. You don't even understand what you have done, do you? Because of this great mess, I know Lucas will be looking for the people that attacked her. The couple's magazine came out today, and that girl and Lucas are in the cover page, same with the billboard. And one of the men commented, perfect couple if you ask me. And Chidera shot him a glance, like I would have killed a lot kind of glass. It would have been me on those billboards and magazines, so shut up your mouth. Simi wasn't happy too because the men failed in their task. She said, it is so sad that the innocent lady had to die so early when God decided to bless her with happiness. If I see another man as rich as Lucas, I will remove my hands from this disgusting game Chidera is playing. Be he sugar daddy or just another guy at all, as long as he is willing to spend on me. My mind has been telling me, even if we succeed in killing Lucas's wife, that he will never look at us. Our men shot a police officer and that desperado is not even bothered. I have so many plans for myself, and that includes getting married and giving birth to children. But going to jail is not part of the plan. I have called Senator Bello and he promised to send me 1 millionaire. And with the money I have saved, I will just buy an apartment. The least I can do for Chidera is to pay for her daily rent for 2 months. I need to detach myself from her. I am a prostitute today for a reason. I was once a very nice girl from a rich family. My father and mother pampered me like eggs since I was the only child. They left home but never returned. I heard they were involved in a motor accident. I was just 14 then. My father's brother claimed all my father's properties without giving me a penny. And when I turned 16, he tried taking advantage of me and I ran away from my father's house to the comfort of the streets. Anyway, that's all in the past now, and this is the present. I think I am going to drop this plan of mine, and maybe God will even bless me. Just in the valley of decision, her phone rang. Who is this caller, and why is he calling? Is he a journey to Simi's repentance? Find this out and many more in the next episode. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you all for supporting me thus far. Till I bring the next episode of the story, it is a goodbye from here, and God bless you.